Imagine this. A lone figure vanishes into the misty depths of a Louisiana bayou, only to leave behind a pool of blood where a sprawling swamp once stood. No body, no trace, just a chilling mystery that's haunted the locals for decades. This is the story of Ethan Carter, a daring explorer who stepped into the heart of Blackwater Bayou and never returned. What happened that night? Was it nature's wrath, a supernatural force, or something far darker? Get ready to unravel a tale so gripping it'll keep you on the edge of your seat for the next hour. Let's dive into the enigma of the swamp that swapped. It was a humid July night in 2023, the kind where the air feels thick enough to cut with a knife. Ethan Carter, a 32-year-old adventurer from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, had always been drawn to the unknown. With a rugged beard and a backpack full of gear, he was the kind of guy who thrived on adrenaline. Think of him like a modern Indiana Jones, but with a southern drawl. Ethan had heard whispers about Blackwater Bayou, a remote wetland 50 miles west of New Orleans, where fishermen swore they'd seen shadows move against the current and heard voices where no one should be. The locals called it cursed, a place where the land itself seemed alive, shifting and swallowing those who dared too deep. Ethan wasn't one to believe in ghost stories. He'd grown up exploring the swamps with his grandfather, a retired marine biologist who'd taught him to read the land like a map. But this time, it was different. Armed with a GPS, a flashlight, and a video camera, he set out to document the bayou's rare wildlife. Gators, herons, maybe even the elusive ivory-billed woodpecker, some claimed still lingered. His plan was simple. Spend the night, capture footage, and prove the legends were just that, legends. His girlfriend, Sarah Mitchell, a nurse from Shreveport, begged him not to go. "That place eats people," she warned, her voice trembling over the phone. But Ethan laughed it off, promising to be back by dawn. As he stepped into the bayou, the air grew heavier, the mist swirling like a living thing. The water lapped at his boots, dark and oily, reflecting the crescent moon above. His GPS pinged erratically, the signal cutting in and out. Odd, since he'd tested it in worse conditions. "Must be the humidity messing with it," he muttered, adjusting his pack. The sounds of the night intensified. Bullfrogs croaked in a frantic rhythm, and something splashed in the distance, too big to be a fish. Ethan's camera caught glimpses of twisted cypress trees, their roots clawing out of the muck like skeletal hands. He narrated into the mic, his voice steady but tinged with excitement. "Day 1, Blackwater Bayou. Let's see what secrets you're hiding." But as midnight approached, the bayou changed. The mist thickened, blotting out the stars, and the GPS went dead. Ethan's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced like figures on the water's edge. He called out, "Hello? Anyone there?" But the echo returned distorted, as if mocking him. Panic crept in. He tried to retrace his steps, but the path he'd marked with broken branches was gone, replaced by a maze of identical waterways. His breathing quickened, captured on the audio. This isn't right. The land's moving. Then a low hum vibrated through the air, shaking the ground beneath him. His last video frame showed a blur of dark shapes. Were they trees or something else? Before the feed cut out. The next morning, Sarah drove to Blackwater with a search party from the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office. What they found stopped them cold. Where the sprawling bayou had been, a 200-acre wetland teeming with life. There was now a barren patch of dry, cracked earth, as if the water had evaporated overnight. In the center lay a pool of fresh blood, glistening under the sun. Surrounded by Ethan's scattered gear, his camera, its lens shattered, and his GPS, its screen frozen on a glitch. No sign of Ethan, no footprints leading out, just that blood, stark against the desolate ground. The sheriff, a grizzled man named Ray Thibodeau, shook his head. "Never seen nothing like it. That swamp took him, sure as sin." The sun beats down on a barren patch of land where Blackwater Bayou once thrived. Its silence broken only by the wind whistling through cracked earth. Ethan Carter is gone, swallowed by a swamp that vanished overnight, leaving behind a pool of blood and a mystery that chills the soul. But what secrets lurk in the shadows of this Louisiana wilderness? Are the locals' tales of a cursed bayou more than superstition? Buckle up as we dive into the whispers of Blackwater, where every legend might hold a clue to Ethan's fate, and yours if you dare to listen too closely. It's July 24th, 2023, just hours after Ethan's disappearance, and the air in Lafourche Parish hangs heavy with dread. Sheriff Ray Thibodeau, a weathered man with 20 years on the force, stands over the blood-stained ground, his boots kicking up dust where water once flowed. "This ain't natural," he mutters, wiping sweat from his brow. The search party, volunteers from nearby Thibodeau and state troopers, fans out. But the barren land offers no tracks, no clues. Sarah Mitchell, Ethan's girlfriend, clutches his shattered camera, tears streaming down her face. "He was so sure he'd be fine," she sobs, replaying his last video where the hum and shadows took over. The footage, now viral on local news, has sparked a frenzy. Hikers, conspiracy theorists, and paranormal investigators are descending on Blackwater. The locals have their own theories, rooted in decades of folklore. At the Rusty Gator Diner in Thibodeau, 65-year-old Marie LeBlanc, a Cajun storyteller with silver hair and sharp eyes, leans over her coffee. "That bayou's alive," she says, her voice low. "Folks say it's the work of the Rougarou, a werewolf spirit cursed by a voodoo priest back in the 1800s. They say it guards the swamp, taking souls who trespass too far." Her tale traces back to 1892, when a trapper named Jacques Broussard vanished, leaving only blood and a shredded canoe. Historical records from the Lafourche Parish archives confirm Broussard's disappearance, with no body recovered, eerily similar to Ethan's case. Marie adds, "Sometimes the bayou moves, taking itself and its victims to another place. That's why it's gone now." Another legend comes from 1967, when a teenager, Tommy Reed, went missing during a dare. His friend, now a retired teacher named Paul Guidry, recalls the night. "We heard a hum, like the earth was singing. Next morning, the swamp was dry, and there was blood where Tommy stood." Paul's account, backed by a faded newspaper clipping from the Thibodeau Daily Comet, describes a 100-acre bayou vanishing overnight, a pattern matching Ethan's fate. Geologists from LSU, called in to investigate, found no evidence of sinkholes or drainage, leaving science stumped. "The land doesn't just dry up like that," says Dr. Claire Nguyen, a hydrology expert. "It's as if it relocated. Impossible, but the data says otherwise, and the search intensifies." Drones buzz overhead, scanning the barren patch, while divers from the Coast Guard probe nearby waterways, though the bayou's sudden absence leaves them baffled. Sarah joins the effort, her nursing skills aiding exhausted volunteers. She finds Ethan's journal near the blood pool, its pages waterlogged but legible. His last entry reads, "Something's watching. The trees moved. That hum. It's alive." The words send a shiver through the team. Ray orders a lockdown of the area, fearing copycats or looters. But the mystery draws more attention. A paranormal vlogger, Jake Rollins, sets up camp claiming, "This is a portal. Ethan's not dead. He's trapped." As dusk falls, the wind carries an odd sound. A faint hum identical to Ethan's video. Volunteers freeze, exchanging glances. Marie whispers, "It's starting again." The ground trembles slightly, and for a moment the air shimmers, as if the bayou might return. But it fades, leaving only silence. The search halts for the night, but the legends fuel speculation. Was Ethan taken by a supernatural force? Or is there a natural explanation lost to time? The blood, tested by the parish coroner, shows human DNA, Ethan's, but no signs of struggle beyond the pool. The clock ticks past midnight on July 24th, 2023, and Blackwater Bayou remains a ghost of itself. A dry, cracked wasteland where a thriving swamp once pulsed with life. Ethan Carter's blood stains the earth. His journal hints at a living terror, and that eerie hum lingers in the air. The search is on, but every step deeper into this mystery unveils a nightmare no one can explain. Are we chasing a man, a monster, or something beyond our understanding? Hold your breath as we plunge into the abyss of Blackwater's secrets, where the truth might be more terrifying than the legends. The morning after the hum, Lafourche Parish Sheriff Ray Thibodeau rallies a larger team, state troopers, National Guard units, and a FEMA disaster response crew. The barren patch, now cordoned off with yellow tape, buzzes with activity. Drones equipped with thermal imaging sweep the area, but the heat signatures reveal nothing. No Ethan, no wildlife, just an unnatural void. Divers from the Coast Guard, led by Commander Lisa Hayes, probe the Atchafalaya Basin's edges, 20 miles north, hoping the bayou relocated there. "We've seen shifts before," Lisa says, "but nothing this sudden or complete." Her team pulls up mud samples, but they're dry. Impossible for a wetland that vanished hours ago. Sarah Mitchell, her eyes red from sleepless nights, joins the search, clutching Ethan's journal like a lifeline. She reads his words aloud to Ray. "The trees moved. That hum. It's alive." The phrase ignites a theory. Dr. Claire Nguyen, the LSU geologist, arrives with a team of seismologists, setting up sensors across the site. "If the land shifted," she explains, "we'd detect micro-tremors. But there's nothing. Zip. It's like the bayou erased itself." Her data, logged at 9:17 and 17 a.m., shows no seismic activity, defying natural explanations. The blood pool, analyzed by coroner Dr. Mark Duvall, confirms Ethan's DNA with traces of an unknown compound, possibly a plant toxin, though unmatched in any database. Local legends fuel the frenzy. Marie LeBlanc, the Cajun storyteller, gathers a crowd at the Rusty Gator Diner, her voice trembling with conviction. "The Rougarou ain't just a tale," she insists. "My grandpapa saw it. Eyes glowing red, taken Jacques Broussard in 92. That hum? It's its call." She recounts a 1953 incident when a hunter, Leroy Thibodeau, vanished, leaving blood in a torn rifle strap. details corroborated by Parish records. Paranormal vlogger Jake Rollins, live streaming from the site, amplifies the myth. "This is a dimensional rift," he claims, waving a EMF meter that spikes near the blood pool. His 50,000 followers flood the comments, some mocking, others believing. The search takes a grim turn. A trooper, Private Daniel Ruiz, stumbles on a sunken footprint near the blood, human-sized, but with an extra toe preserved in the cracked mud. "No gator leaves this," he says, his voice shaking. The find sparks a heated debate. Dr. Nguyen suggests a mutation from the bayou's unique ecosystem, citing a 2021 study on Louisiana's adaptive wildlife. But Jake counters, "That's no animal. It's the Rougarous mark." Sarah, desperate, pleads with Ray to dig deeper, her nursing instincts kicking in. "If he's hurt, we can still save him," she insists. Though the blood's volume, estimated at 2 pints, suggests otherwise. By afternoon, the hum returns, louder, vibrating the ground. Volunteers scatter as the air shimmers again, a mirage-like ripple over the barren patch. For a fleeting moment, cypress trees and murky water flicker into view. Ethan's voice echoes faintly, "Help me," before it all vanishes. Dr. Duvall's team records the event, noting a spike in atmospheric pressure at 2:43 p.m., per NOAA data. "It's like a portal opening and closing," he muses. Ray orders an evacuation, fearing the phenomenon might strike again. The site is abandoned, but not before Jake captures the shimmer on video, his stream crashing from overload. Theories collide. Is Blackwater a natural anomaly, a geological quirk gone rogue? Or is it a supernatural trap, as Marie and Jake insist? The footprint, the hum, the vanishing swamp, all point to something beyond science. Sarah refuses to give up, vowing to find Ethan. The mystery thickens, and the bayou's next move could be deadly. It's 4:06 p.m. on Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. 2 years since Ethan Carter vanished into the maw of Blackwater Bayou, and the mystery only deepens. That fleeting shimmer, his desperate cry for help, and the unnatural footprint have turned a local enigma into a national obsession. Scientists and self-proclaimed ghost hunters now battle for answers. But the bayou holds its secrets tight. Are we facing a natural phenomenon gone wild, or a supernatural force defying logic? Grab hold as we dive into the clash of science and spirits, where every discovery might be your last. The barren patch of Blackwater, now a 200-acre scar on Louisiana's landscape, has become a battleground of theories. Since that eerie July day in 2023, the site has been under constant surveillance. Dr. Claire Nguyen, the LSU geologist, leads a team of experts, including seismologists and botanists, armed with cutting-edge tech. On this humid afternoon, she's deploying ground-penetrating radar, its signals pinging deep into the earth. "If there's a subterranean shift," she explains, "we'll find it." Her data, logged at 4:15 p.m., reveals an anomaly, a hollow space 50 feet down, shifting irregularly, as if the ground breathes. "It's not a cave," Claire says, her voice tense. "It's like the Earth's fabric is unraveling." Soil samples show traces of methane and an unidentified organic compound, hinting at a rare ecological event. Perhaps a methane eruption, though no precedent matches this scale. Across the site, paranormal investigator Jake Rollins sets up his gear. EMF meters, thermal cameras, and a spirit box crackling with static. His live stream, with over 100,000 viewers, draws a crowd of believers. "This is a dimensional rift," he declares, pointing to the footprint with its extra toe. "The Rougarous mark. Proof the bayou's a portal." He cites a 2019 study from Tulane University on electromagnetic anomalies in wetlands, suggesting natural energy spikes could align with paranormal activity. At 4:30 p.m., his spirit box picks up a distorted voice, "Leave," matching Ethan's timbre from the Shimmer video. The crowd gasps, but Claire scoffs. "It's audio pareidolia, your brain-filling gaps." Still, the coincidence unnerves even the skeptics. Sarah Mitchell, now a relentless advocate, funds the effort with a GoFundMe raising $50,000 from supporters nationwide. She collaborates with both camps, her nursing background driving her to seek Ethan alive. "If he's trapped," she tells Ray Thibodeau, the sheriff, "we need every angle." Ray, hardened by 2 years of dead ends, agrees to a joint operation. At 5:20 p.m., a drill team from Baton Rouge breaks ground near the hollow, striking a pocket of gas that erupts in a harmless flare. Claire's team records a pressure drop, while Jake's meter spikes to 300 milligauss, far beyond normal levels. "That's entity energy," he insists, though Claire counters with, "It's geological stress releasing." The investigation unearths more. A 1975 USGS report, unearthed by Claire, documents a similar bayou vanishing near Lake Pontchartrain, leaving blood and a hunter's knife, another parallel to Ethan's case. Marie LeBlanc, the Cajun elder, adds a chilling detail. That hunter's family heard his voice for weeks, faint on the wind. Sarah plays Ethan's last video again, isolating the hum at 22 hertz, a frequency linked to infrasound, which can cause hallucinations, per a 2020 study from the University of Louisiana. "Maybe he saw things that weren't there," she muses. But the footprint defies that theory. As dusk falls, the hum returns, stronger, shaking the ground at 6:15 p.m. The radar screen glitches, showing a fleeting image of water and trees. Black water reborn for a second. Jake's camera captures a shadowy figure near the blood pool, its form humanoid, but distorted, before the shimmer fades. Dr. Mark Duval, the coroner, analyzes new soil samples, finding Ethan's DNA mixed with an algae strain unknown to science, possibly from another ecosystem. "He might be somewhere else," Mark suggests, his voice grave. The team evacuates again, but Sarah stays, whispering, "I'm not leaving you, Ethan." The clash grows. Science points to a rare natural shift, perhaps a methane-driven portal, while the supernatural leans on the Rougarous' curse. The evidence, footprint, hum, shimmer, blurs the line. The bayou's next move could be catastrophic. It's 4:08 p.m. on Wednesday, July 23, 2025. 2 years since Ethan Carter vanished into the void of Blackwater Bayou, and the ground trembles once more. That fleeting shimmer, the distorted cry, the shadowy figure, all signs the bayou isn't done with us. Now, as the earth quakes under a Louisiana sun, Blackwater surges back, bringing death in its wake. What unleashed this horror? And who will survive its wrath? Hold tight as we witness the bayou's return, a nightmare reborn that will test the limits of science and courage. The afternoon of July 23, 2025, dawns with an eerie calm over Lafourche Parish. The barren patch where Blackwater once stood has been a silent graveyard since 2023, guarded by Sheriff Ray Thibodeau's patrols. But at precisely 4:08 p.m., the ground shakes, a 3.2 magnitude tremor, recorded by LSU's seismographs. Dr. Claire Nguyen, monitoring from a mobile lab, shouts, "It's happening again!" Her radar screen lights up, showing the hollow space flooding with water, fast. Within minutes, the dry earth transforms. Cypress trees erupt from the soil, their roots twisting like living tendrils, and murky water floods the 200-acre site. Blackwater Bayou is back, but it's no longer the tranquil wetland of old. Panic erupts. A National Guard unit stationed nearby scrambles as the water surges, dragging equipment into the depths. Pavet Daniel Ruiz, the trooper who found the footprint, is swept off his feet, his scream cut short as he vanishes under the surface. Rescue divers, led by Commander Lisa Hayes, launch boats, but the current is unnatural, swirling against the wind, pulling inward like a whirlpool. By 4:20 p.m., they recovered Daniel's helmet, dented and smeared with blood, 50 yards from shore. Dr. Mark Duval, the coroner, confirms human tissue inside, matching Daniel's DNA. "It's like the bayou's hungry," he mutters, his face pale. Sarah Mitchell, still haunted by Ethan's loss, rushes to the scene, her GoFundMe now at $75,000, funding this renewed effort. She spots the shimmer again, a ripple in the air, and hears Ethan's voice. "Sarah, run!" clear as day. The sound captured on her phone sends chills through the team. Jake Rollins, the paranormal vlogger, live streams the chaos, his 150,000 viewers watching in horror. "The portal's open!" he yells, his EMF meter spiking to 400 milligauss. Marie LeBlanc, the Cajun elder, prays aloud. The Rougarous awake. Blood calls it back. Her tale of the 1892 trapper, Jacques Broussard, gains traction, as Parish records note similar resurgences after disappearances. Science scrambles for answers. Claire's team detects a methane spike, per NOAA's 4:15 p.m. update, suggesting a gas eruption forced the water's return. But the speed, 200 acres flooded in 12 minutes, defies known hydrology. She theorizes a subterranean aquifer, pressurized by tectonic stress, burst through, citing a 2018 study on Louisiana's unstable geology. Yet the algae strain in the water, analyzed on site, matches the unknown compound from Ethan's blood sample, hinting at a relocated ecosystem. "It's like the bayou brought itself back from somewhere else," Claire admits, her voice trembling. The death toll rises. At 4:45 p.m., a fisherman, Tom Landry, ventures too close in his pirogue, lured by the bayou's sudden fish population. His boat capsizes and his body washes ashore, throat torn open, wounds inconsistent with gator attacks, jagged as if by claws. Wildlife cameras, set by LSU, capture a blur near the site, a humanoid shape with glowing eyes, gone in a frame. Jake hails it as the Rougarou, while Claire insists it's a trick of light. The footage, uploaded to X, goes viral, amassing 2 million views by nightfall, sparking debates between skeptics and believers. Ray orders a full evacuation, but Sarah refuses to leave. "Ethan's in there," she insists, wading into the shallows with a flashlight. The hum returns, deafening, and the water churns. A hand, Ethan's, breaks the surface, then sinks as Sarah screams. The team pulls her back, but the bayou settles, leaving only ripples. The resurgence has claimed 2 lives, echoing the 1967 Tommy Reed case, where a second disappearance followed the bayou's return. The pattern is clear. Each comeback demands a sacrifice. It's 4:09 p.m. on Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025, and Blackwater Bayou has clawed its way back, claiming Parvit Daniel Ruiz and Tom Landry in a torrent of blood and water. Ethan Carter's voice echoes from the depths, a desperate plea cut short, while the hum grows louder, shaking the Louisiana earth. This isn't just a swamp. It's a living nightmare with roots deeper than anyone imagined. Are we about to uncover its ancient curse, or will a daring rescue plunge us into its jaws? Brace yourself as we dive into the heart of this terror, where every second counts. The resurgence of Blackwater Bayou at 4:08 p.m. has turned Lafourche Parish into a war zone. Sheriff Ray Thibodeau, his face etched with exhaustion, coordinates with the National Guard as helicopters circle overhead. The water, now a murky expanse teeming with fish, gators, hides its secrets. But the hum, registered at 22 hertz by LSU's seismographs, vibrates through the air, disorienting rescuers. Dr. Claire Nguyen, her team's radar detecting the hollow space's expansion, uncovers a breakthrough. "This isn't new," she says, poring over 18th century French colonial maps from the Louisiana State Museum. Blackwater's been here since 1765, tied to a voodoo ritual by a runaway slave, Marie-Claire Dubois. The story emerges from yellowed Parish records. In 1765, Marie-Claire, fleeing a plantation near present-day Donaldsonville, sought refuge in the bayou. Legend says she cursed the land with a voodoo spell to protect her freedom, summoning a spirit, later called the Rougarou, to guard it. A 1772 journal by a French surveyor, Pierre Lemoine, notes the swamp vanished with a man's scream, leaving blood where water once flowed. Claire cross-references this with a 1995 archaeological find. A voodoo altar, unearthed 10 miles south, containing human bones and a talisman etched with symbols matching Marie-Claire's name. The curse might trigger when someone intrudes, she theorizes, releasing methane to shift the ecosystem. Paranormal investigator Jake Rollins seizes the narrative, live streaming to 200,000 viewers. "This is Marie-Claire's revenge," he declares, holding the talisman replica. "The Rougarou's her guardian, and Ethan's its prisoner." Marie Leblanc, the Cajun elder, nods, recalling her grandmother's tales of offerings, blood to appease the spirit. "It takes, then returns," she warns. The 1967 Tommy Reed case, where a second death followed the bayou's comeback, supports this cycle, per Parish death records. Jake's thermal camera, at 4:25 p.m., captures a heat signature near the altar site. Human-shaped, moving fast, then gone. Sarah Mitchell, driven by Ethan's cry, demands action. "We can't wait," she tells Ray, her voice breaking. At 4:40 p.m., a desperate rescue plan unfolds. A volunteer team, including ex-Navy SEAL Marcus Holt, equips with diving suits and oxygen tanks, funded by Sarah's $75,000 GoFundMe. Claire equips them with infrasound dampeners, based on a 2022 MIT study showing 22 hertz waves cause disorientation. "If it's a portal," she says, "this might stabilize it." The team enters the water at 5:00 p.m., the hum deafening, water swirling like a maelstrom. Marcus's body cam shows twisted trees and a faint light ahead. Ethan's flashlight? At 5:15 p.m., chaos erupts. The cam catches a shadowy figure, tall, clawed, eyes glowing red, lunging at Marcus. His scream cuts off as the feed blacks out. The team retreats, pulling Marcus's suit, torn, blood-streaked, back to shore. Dr. Mark Duval confirms claw marks unmatched by local wildlife, per a 2023 LSU zoology report. The dampeners failed, and the hum spikes to 30 hertz per NOAA's 5:20 p.m. reading. Sarah collapses, whispering, "He's still in there." The rescue fails, but the altar's proximity to the surge suggests a trigger. Perhaps Marie Claire's curse reactivates with each intrusion. The bayou's origins blend science and myth. A methane-fueled shift, sparked by a voodoo ritual, creating a self-sustaining cycle. The rougarou, real or imagined, embodies the terror. The stakes rise as the curse tightens its grip. It's 4:10 p.m. on Wednesday, July 23, 2025, and Blackwater Bayou has unleashed its full fury. The curse, born from a voodoo ritual in 1765, has claimed Parvit Daniel Ruiz, Tom Landry, and now Marcus Holt, its waters churning with a hunger that defies nature. Ethan Carter's voice haunts the air. The rougarou's shadow looms, and the hum threatens to swallow all. This is the moment of truth. Will a final stand break the curse, or will it consume everything? Hold on tight as we face the bayou's wrath head-on in a battle for survival. The clock strikes 4:10 p.m., and the bayou's resurgence reaches a fever pitch. The 200-acre wetland, reborn hours ago, now pulses with an unnatural energy. The hum, peaking at 35 hertz per NOAA's 4:12 p.m. update, rattles windows in Thibodaux, 15 miles away. Dr. Claire Nguyen, her face etched with determination, stands at the mobile lab's edge, analyzing data. "The methane levels are off the charts," she shouts over the noise. "It's a feedback loop. Every death feeds the curse." Her team's radar shows the hollow space expanding, a 100-foot void beneath, shifting like a living organ. The 1995 archaeological find, the voodoo altar, becomes the key. Claire theorizes the talisman, buried there, activates the shift, supported by a 2021 study on ritual sites amplifying geological anomalies. Sarah Mitchell, her resolve hardened by Marcus's loss, rallies the survivors. "We end this," she declares, her voice steady despite tears. Sheriff Ray Thibodeau, battered but unbowed, agrees, calling in a SWAT team from New Orleans. Paranormal vlogger Jake Rollins, his stream at 250,000 viewers, insists on a ritual. "We need to appease Marie Claire's spirit," he says, clutching the talisman replica. Marie LeBlanc, the Cajun elder, nods, recounting her grandmother's lore. A blood offering reversed the curse in 1892, when Jacques Broussard's kin spilled their own blood to reclaim him. Parish records note the bayou receded then, though at a cost: 3 lives. At 4:30 p.m., the final stand begins. The SWAT team, led by Captain Elena Martinez, secures the altar's site, 10 yards from the blood pool. Claire equips them with infrasound blockers and gas masks, citing a 2023 CDC report on methane's hallucinogenic effects. Jake prepares a ritual: candles, chants, and a goat's blood substitute, ethically sourced from a local farm, while Sarah insists on a rescue probe. "Ethan's alive," she pleads, holding his journal. Ray authorizes a submersible drone, launched at 4:45 p.m., its camera piercing the murky depths. The feed shows a cavern, walls lined with glowing algae, and a figure: Ethan, pale but moving, chained to a rock. The hum spikes to 40 hertz, and the water erupts. A shadowy rougarou, 8 feet tall, claws gleaming, lunges from the depths, its red eyes fixed on the team. SWAT opens fire, but the bullets pass through, per Jake's live feed, suggesting a spectral form. Marie chants, "Marie Claire, take this blood, release the lost." The goat's blood hits the altar, and the ground trembles. At 5 p.m., the drone's feed cuts as Ethan's chains snap. He's free, but the cavern collapses. The rougarou roars, its form solidifying, and slashes at Elena, who falls, bleeding but alive. The team retreats, dragging her to safety. The bayou calms at 5:15 p.m., the hum fading to a whisper. The water recedes slightly, revealing Ethan's boot, torn but empty. Dr. Mark Duval examines Elena's wounds, claw marks. Yet she survives, unlike previous victims. Claire's data shows the methane drop, suggesting the ritual disrupted the loop. Jake claims victory, the spirit sated, for now. Sarah collapses, clutching the boot, her hope flickering. The altar, cracked but intact, hints the curse lingers, its power diminished, but not broken. It's 4:11 p.m. on Wednesday, July 23, 2025, and the dust settles over Blackwater Bayou after a battle that shook the earth. The curse weakened, the rougarou retreated. But at what cost? Captain Elena Martinez lies wounded. Ethan Carter's boot surfaces alone, and the hum lingers like a ghost's whisper. Has the bayou released its prisoner? Or does it still hold him in its watery grasp, get ready to sift through the aftermath, where every clue brings us closer to the truth, yet deeper into despair? The clock ticks to 4:11 p.m., and the air over Lafourche Parish grows still. The bayou's waters receding to a 150-acre pool after the ritual's chaos. Sheriff Ray Thibodeau, his uniform streaked with mud, oversees the evacuation of the SWAT team and volunteers. Captain Elena Martinez, her arm bandaged from the rougarou's claw, is airlifted to Our Lady of the Lake Hospital in Baton Rouge. Dr. Mark Duval, the coroner, examines her wounds. Jagged but shallow, unlike the fatal tears on Tom Landry. It held back, Mark notes, like the ritual worked. Elena, groggy from painkillers, murmurs, "I saw Ethan. His eyes were pleading." Her testimony, recorded at 4:20 p.m., fuels hope and dread. Sarah Mitchell, clutching Ethan's boot, refuses to leave the site. "He's close," she insists, her voice raw. Dr. Claire Nguyen, her team analyzing the post-ritual data, agrees the methane levels dropped by 70% per NOAA's 4:15 p.m. reading, suggesting the curse's energy waned. The ground-penetrating radar, recalibrated, detects a smaller hollow, 20 feet deep, where the cavern collapsed. "He might be trapped there," Claire says, proposing a controlled dig. The 1765 voodoo altar, cracked but standing, holds the talisman, its symbols glowing faintly under UV light. Per 2024 Tulane study on ritual artifacts. It's a conduit, Claire theorizes, but the link's weakening. Paranormal investigator Jake Rollins, his stream at 300,000 viewers, claims partial victory. "The rougarou's sated, but not gone," he warns, pointing to the hum's residual 15 Hz pulse per his EMF meter. Marie LeBlanc, the Cajun elder, nods, her prayers exhausted. "Marie Claire's spirit took the blood but wants more," she whispers, citing a 1901 Parish log where a similar ritual failed, leaving a family missing. The pattern: blood offerings delaying, not ending. The curse matches the 1967 Tommy Reed case, where a third death sealed the bayou's return. At 4:45 p.m., the dig begins. A backhoe, guided by Claire's radar, breaks ground near the boot. The team, including Sarah and Ray, watches as mud yields a tunnel, narrow, waterlogged, leading to the cavern. A rescue drone, relaunched at 5:00 p.m., descends, its camera revealing Ethan, pale, unconscious, tangled in roots. "He's alive!" Sarah cries, but the hum surges to 20 hertz, shaking the tunnel. The drone's feed cuts as a shadow, clawed, red-eyed, flashes by. The backhoe retreats, but not before a root lashes out, nearly crushing Ray. "It's fighting back," he grunts, pulling Sarah to safety. By 5:15 p.m., the dig halts, the tunnel collapsing. Ethan's faint breathing, caught on audio, confirms life, but his location shifts. Radar now places him 30 feet deeper. Dr. Duvall's soil analysis finds Ethan's DNA with the unknown algae, alive but altered, per a 2025 LSU biotech report on extremophiles. "He's adapting to whatever's down there," Mark says, his voice grim. Jake suggests a second ritual, but Claire counters. "We need science, oxygen pumps, stabilizers." Sarah, undeterred, vows, "I'll go in myself." The aftermath reveals a fragile hope. The curse's power dims, but the bayou's grip on Ethan tightens. The Rougarou's retreat suggests a balance, yet the hum's persistence warns of another surge. The team faces a choice: risk more lives or abandon him. It's 4:11 p.m. on Wednesday, July 23, 2025, and the stakes couldn't be higher at Blackwater Bayou. Ethan Carter's faint breath echoes from a collapsing cavern. The curse wavers, and the Rougarou's shadow looms large. A rescue mission is our last hope, but the bayou fights back with a vengeance. Will this desperate plunge save Ethan, or doom them all? Hold your breath as we dive into the rescue's reckoning, where every second teeters between triumph and tragedy. The clock strikes 4:11 p.m., and the tension at Blackwater Bayou is palpable. The collapsed tunnel, where Ethan's boots surfaced, pulses with a faint 15 hertz hum per LSU's seismographs. Sheriff Ray Thibodeau, his leg bruised from the root's lash, rallies the team for a final push. "We're not leaving him," he growls, his voice steady despite the odds. Sarah Mitchell, her eyes burning with determination, steps forward. "I'm going in," she insists, her nursing skills and love for Ethan driving her. Dr. Claire Nguyen, her face lined with exhaustion, nods, equipping Sarah with an oxygen mask, infrasound dampeners, and a lifeline rope, based on a 2023 NOAA study on methane-safe diving. The rescue plan hinges on science and speed. At 4:25 p.m., a team of divers, led by ex-Navy SEAL Marcus Holt's replacement, Lieutenant Jared Brooks, joins Sarah. Claire's radar pinpoints Ethan 30 feet down, his vitals faint but detectable via a bio-tracker from Sarah's GoFundMe funds. Paranormal investigator Jake Rollins, streaming to 350,000 viewers, prepares a secondary ritual. "If the Rougarou strikes," he says, "we'll offer more blood, ethically sourced, per PETA guidelines." Marie LeBlanc, the Cajun elder, blesses the team, chanting, "Marie Claire, spare this soul." The 1765 voodoo altar, its talisman glowing, stands as the ritual's anchor, supported by a 2024 Tulane report on energy conduits. At 4:40 p.m., the mission begins. Sarah and Jared descend into the tunnel, the water cold and thick with algae. The drone's last feed guides them to the cavern, where roots twist like veins. Sarah's dampener hums, muting the 20 Hz spike at 4:45 p.m. per NOAA data. Jared's headlamp catches Ethan, pale, breathing shallowly, tangled in glowing roots. "He's alive," Sarah cries, her voice cracking over the comms. But the hum surges to 25 Hz, and the cavern shakes. A shadow emerges, the Rougarou, its claws slashing at Jared, who fires a flare gun. The light reveals its form, humanoid, scaled, eyes blazing, before it retreats into the dark. At 5:00 p.m., the rescue turns dire. Sarah cuts Ethan free, his body limp but warm. The lifeline strains as the cavern collapses, roots snapping like whips. Ray and the SWAT team, led by Captain Elena Martinez, back from the hospital, arm in a sling, haul the rope. Elena's wounds, healed but scarred, fuel her resolve. "Pull!" she shouts, her voice raw. The team drags Sarah and Ethan to the surface at 5:10 p.m., but the bayou fights back. Water surges, dragging Jared under, his scream echoing until silence. Dr. Mark Duvall confirms Jared's death, his suit shredded, matching the 2023 LSU zoology report on unknown predators. Ethan emerges, alive but changed. His skin bears the algae's glow, his eyes vacant, whispering, "It showed me another place." Dr. Duvall's 5:15 p.m. analysis finds Ethan's DNA altered with extremophile bacteria per a 2025 biotech study. "He's been somewhere else," Mark says, stunned. The ritual's blood offering, combined with the flare's disruption, weakened the curse. Methane levels dropped to 10% per Claire's data. The talisman dims, suggesting the portal's closure. Jake hails it a win, the Rougarou's banished, for now. Sarah cradles Ethan, tears mixing with relief. But his vacant stare hints at a cost. The outcome shocks. Ethan saved, Jared lost, the bayou subdued, but not destroyed. The hum fades to a whisper, but the altered ecosystem, fish with glowing scales, per a 5:20 p.m. LSU sample, suggests Blackwater's link to another realm persists. It's 4:12 p.m. on Wednesday, July 23, 2025, and the battle at Blackwater Bayou has reached its end. Ethan Carter is back, scarred and changed while the curse lies dormant, but not defeated. The Rougarou's shadow fades. Yet the bayou's legacy lingers, a warning etched in blood and water. What has Ethan endured, and what can we learn from this nightmare to protect our future? Join us for the final chapter, a journey from terror to triumph, where the past shapes the path ahead. The clock ticks to 4:12 p.m., and the chaos at Blackwater Bayou subsides. Ethan Carter, pulled from the cavern at 5:10 p.m., lies on a stretcher, his skin glowing faintly with the alien algae. Sarah Mitchell, her hands trembling, holds him as medics from Our Lady of the Lake Hospital rush him to an ambulance. Sheriff Ray Thibodeau, bruised but resolute, watches the bayou settle into a 150-acre pool, its waters calmer but still teeming with glowing fish. "We did it," he mutters, though his eyes betray doubt. Dr. Mark Duvall, analyzing Ethan's blood at 4:20 p.m., confirms the extremophile bacteria per a 2025 LSU biotech report, suggesting Ethan survived in a parallel ecosystem. His body adapted, Mark says, but his mind, that's another story. At the hospital, Ethan awakens at 6:00 p.m., his eyes vacant but alive. Dr. Claire Nguyen, her team monitoring his vitals, records his first words. "I saw a world of water and roots, voices calling me to stay." His EEG, per a 2024 Mayo Clinic study, shows abnormal brain activity, hinting at trauma or a psychic link to the bayou. Sarah, by his side, learns he remembers the hum, the rougarou's claws, and a vision of Marie-Claire Dubois, the 1765 voodoo priestess, offering him freedom for a price. The talisman, dimmed after the ritual, sits in Claire's lab, its energy fading, supported by a 2024. 4. Tulane analysis of ritual artifacts. The aftermath reshapes Lafourche Parish. The bayou, now a protected site under the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, draws scientists studying its altered ecosystem, glowing algae, mutated fish, linked to a 2023 NOAA report on methane anomalies. Paranormal investigator Jake Rollins, his stream at 400,000 viewers, declares, "The curse sleeps, but the portal's weak." Marie LeBlanc, the Cajun elder, warns, "Blood will wake it again." The 1967 Tommy Reed case, where the bayou returned after a third death, looms as a cautionary tale, per Parish records. Ethan's return, costing Jared Brooks' life, broke the cycle temporarily. Ethan's recovery is slow. By July 30th, 2025, he speaks more, describing a realm of endless swamps where time bends. Psychiatrist Dr. Helen Parker from Tulane diagnoses PTSD with dissociative episodes, citing a 2022 APA study on supernatural trauma. "He's here, but part of him is still there," she says. Sarah, now his caregiver, finds strength in his survival, vowing to document his story. The GoFundMe at 100,000 funds research into methane portals, inspired by a 2021. 1. MIT hypothesis on dimensional rifts. The legacy of Blackwater teaches a profound lesson. This nightmare, born from Marie-Claire's curse and fueled by intrusion, shows how nature and human actions intertwine. It mirrors real-world risks, environmental exploitation, like the 2010 BP oil spill in the Gulf, which destabilized Louisiana's wetlands, per NOAA. The bayou's shifts warn us to respect boundaries: physical, ecological, and spiritual. Ethan's ordeal urges us to act. Support conservation groups like the Nature Conservancy, educate on sustainable living, and confront fear with unity. His survival, despite the cost, proves resilience can triumph over darkness. It's 4:13 p.m. on Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. And the tale of Blackwater Bayou doesn't end with Ethan Carter's rescue. The curse may sleep, the rougarou may fade, but the bayou's legacy pulses with new life and new dangers. What secrets does this altered land still hold? And how will Ethan's survival shape the future? Lean in as we uncover the legacy that lives on, where every revelation could change everything we thought we knew. The clock ticks to 4:13 p.m., and the sun dips low over Lafourche Parish, casting long shadows across Blackwater Bayou. Ethan Carter, now stabilized at Our Lady of the Lake Hospital, sits up in bed, his glowing skin a constant reminder of his ordeal. Sarah Mitchell, his unwavering support, reads his latest journal entry aloud. The voices still call. Marie-Claire promises peace if I return. His words, recorded at 4:20 p.m., send a chill through the room. Dr. Helen Parker, the Tulane psychiatrist, notes his dissociative episodes, linking them to a 2025 NI study on trauma-induced hallucinations. "He's tethered to that place," she warns, as Ethan's EEG spikes at the hum's 15 Hz echo, detected by a hospital monitor. Outside, the bayou has transformed. Dr. Claire Nguyen's team, back at the site, documents a thriving ecosystem. Glowing algae now carpets 160 acres, and fish with bioluminescent scales swim in patterns per a 4:30 p.m. LSU sample. "It's self-sustaining," Claire marvels, citing a 2023 NOAA report on methane-driven mutations. The water level stabilizes, but the hum persists, weaker at 10 Hz, suggesting the portal's residual energy, per a 2021 MIT hypothesis. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service declares Blackwater a research zone, installing sensors that detect microshifts every 48 hours, matching the 1967 Tommy Reed cycle. New incidents fuel the mystery. At 4:45 p.m., a park ranger, Emily Soto, patrolling the perimeter, vanishes after reporting a shimmer on her radio. Her tracker, found at 5 o'clock, lies near the voodoo altar, its signal scrambled. Sheriff Ray Thibodeau, his leg healed, leads a search, finding Emily's boot, intact, but soaked in the same algae strain as Ethan's blood. Dr. Mark Duvall's 5:15 p.m. analysis confirms her DNA, but no body. "It's starting again," Ray mutters, echoing Marie LeBlanc's warning. The curse feeds on curiosity. The 1901 Parish log, revisited, notes a similar disappearance after the bayou's last resurgence, reinforcing the cycle. Paranormal investigator Jake Rollins, his stream at 450,000 viewers, returns, claiming, "The Rougarou's testing us." His thermal camera, at 5:30 p.m., captures a faint heat signature near the altar, humanoid, fleeting. Marie, praying at the site, hears a whisper, "More blood," matching Ethan's vision of Marie Claire. The talisman, analyzed by Tulane, shows residual energy per a 2024 report, hinting the portal could reopen. Claire counters with a scientific angle. Methane pockets, destabilized by the ritual, might trigger another shift. Both theories gain traction on X, where Hambaj Blackwater curse trends with 5 million posts by nightfall. Ethan, discharged on July 25, 2025, becomes an advocate. At a community meeting in Thibodeau, he shares his story, his voice shaky. "I saw a world we can't understand, beauty and terror. We must protect it." His GoFundMe, now $150,000, funds a conservation project, partnering with the Nature Conservancy to monitor Blackwater. Sarah, by his side, adds, "His survival teaches us resilience." The project, launched August 1, 2025, plants native cypress to stabilize the soil, reducing methane risks per a 2023 EPA guideline. The legacy lives on as a dual lesson. Blackwater mirrors real threats. Wetland loss, like the 1,000 square miles lost in Louisiana since 1930, per USGS, urging environmental action. Ethan's ordeal, fueled by curiosity, warns against recklessness, echoing the 2010 BP spill's ecological cost. The lesson? Respect nature's limits, support conservation, and face fear with knowledge. Ethan's recovery, despite his scars, proves hope endures.